Maybe now maybe now you can actually hear me. Who knows? Let's turn down the volume a little bit. There we go. If anyone's there, if you can hear me, can you give me some feedback in the chat here? I've got a microphone hanging off my glasses here to try and get some consistent sound. Yeah, if it's too loud, let me know in the chat, please. Hey, Rodrigo, how's it going? Nice to see you joining us. Hopefully you can hear me okay now, finally. Yeah, so we're essentially I have this control panel. Let me switch back here. I have this control panel with 6 zone buttons on them, and the user should be able to switch on an array of LEDs in one room on the diorama with this button, another room with this on and off, and so on. And I'll show you a little bit about how I'm going to do all that in a moment. Thanks for the feedback on the sound. Really good to hear that. The switches, once again, these are from Amazon. There's nothing terribly special about them. One of the things I do like is that they actually come with screws to make a connection there. So that's going to make it really easy to disconnect and reconnect and so on. We're going to connect one side of the screw. We're going to connect one side to ground, and then the other side goes off to our chip that's going to be doing the detecting. So whenever it sees ground on the pin, it goes, oh, that button's been pressed, I better do what I was going to do. So let's go back to the camera here. I upgraded my sound, my camera by here, and the ability to switch back and forth between these in the last week or so. So hopefully it's a little bit more professional than what it was. So anyway, let's go back to, I was just going to strip this wire here. This is single core wire, which I'm going to feed through all of these switches. So I have one continuous ground available. So anyway, Rodrigo, what are you working on? Are you working on anything interesting? Anything you might need LEDs for? Or a competition? Or is it a diorama? Or is it a Warhammer terrain or something? There we go. And I'm just doing this in little chunks at a time here rather than trying to do it all in one go. There we go. Well, this now, oh, look at that, that's coming off beautifully now though. There we go. So I now have one continuous length, and we're gonna go on the right hand side here. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Lovely, lovely. That's going to feed from the bottom here. Let's make sure you guys can see what I'm up to. Is that going to go in? I don't know. I'm going to have to unscrew it a little bit further. So the this wooden panel here, this is I have a laser cutter here. I'm fortunate enough to have that here, so I was able to very quickly cut this. The shape came from boxmaker.com of the box. You'll see it all come together, and then I added holes and text for that. Let's have a quick look here. Here we go. Let's make sure you can see. Okay. I know every once in a while I look up like I have no idea what I'm doing here, but I'm trying to make sure you guys can see what I'm up to on camera. There we go. No, I didn't get that one. See? Take your eye off the ball for 1 minute in this game. Okay. And this one as well. I'm just going to do it like that. So that's number 1. This is number 6. So now let's screw these down to tighten them. Alright. Okay. Is there anything other than subject matter itself I can do to make this stream more interesting, like background music or something like that? I'm very happy to take any feedback you have. This is going to be about half an hour today. And then I'll Probably try and do a little bit more in midweek. I'm staying down in Austin midweek. Have some time in the hotels at night, so I'm going to work on some code. After the last one, someone said they wanted lightning effects, or sort of more electrical and modern effects. So that'll be one of the next things to work on. Okay. All right. So with that, I now have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 that will connect to each other, or will connect to ground, to a common ground when the button is pressed. So with that, let's now get some glue out, shall we, and start making up this box. So this box is made up of tabs, and you can see here that I can do something very similar to this. So I can slot these in. So I'm going to, we'll talk about all that stuff in a minute. Let's have a look. I'm going to add some glue here. This is a quick prototype, so it doesn't have to be beautiful, but I do like to make some effort. There we go. Goes by there, that goes by there, that goes by there, 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 there. Did you guys see any of that? No, probably not, because I'm normally not looking at what's being transmitted. There we go. And the nice thing about having a laser is you can put your logo, or you can put text on virtually anything you're cutting out. So if you're going to do it, you may as well. Alright, let's have a look. Okay. Now one of the challenges I have here is I want to keep this at a 90-degree angle. So what I actually have here are the ends for it, which are designed to, if it cooperates with me. Can you guys see what's going on there? There we go. Voila. Now I can just tuck this wire down around here. I'm going to grab the other end here. Now the other end is going to slide onto there. So this bit, so all of these bits are going to get a little bit of glue. Okay, we dab a glue. I should have used some real wood glue. It might have set up a little bit faster for me, but in theory, we should be cooking on gas pretty quickly here.
Virtual assistants don't eat, but if you're hungry, ask.
My phone is talking to me. There we go. And now let's add a little bit of glue on these ones. So a little bit goes right there and by there. Let's slot this on. Alright. So now I'm going to leave this open on the other side for now so I can get to it and do wiring and stuff. But you can see that I can pretty easily, let's go wider here. There we go. How does that work? Does that work a little better for you? I think so. So now we have, a case here with the 6 switches. There's a common ground running along them, so there's a common signal that the chip can read and go from there. So one of the things I do kind of wish I had done now is I'd used super glue and Elmer's glue. So the super glue would give me a very quick grab, not a strong one, but a quick grab, and then from there the Elmer's then would really set in and take well. Lessons learned. Alright, so while that's drying a little bit, I thought I'd share something else with you. And if you are, I see we've got 2 viewers right now. Come say hello in the chat as well. I would love you to hear who's watching today. But while that dries a little bit, and we'll talk about the electronics for that in just a minute, but that's not everything this show's about. Heat sinks. So on a build I did with John a couple of months ago, where he had this like huge dragon breath effect going on, we we're using these, I think these are 1 watt or 3 watt LEDs, and they can get quite warm. They really can. And the question was, well, can we use a heatsink of some kind? How do we attach heat sinks? How do we glue things together like this? So what I found are these little heat sinks. Now you can find these on Amazon. These are 14 millimeter by 14 millimeters, so that's just over half an inch by half inch. And they're really designed for things like Raspberry Pis, if you've heard of those. So the kids are using Raspberry Pis for classes on coding in school and stuff. But they add these on top just to get the heat out of the chips. And funnily enough, they fit just beautifully onto the back of one of these LEDs. However, and this is the bit I didn't really comprehend, is how do we stick it? You can't use regular glue because the glue has to be conductive enough to transfer the heat from here over to here, right? So if we can do that, we can get more heat out of it, and it's not going to get as hot. So a quick look at Amazon later. Let's flip this the other way around. Can you guys see that? That's thermal glue from Amazon. A tiny amount is all that's required per LED. And that's been on there now about 2 hours. It's still a little wibbly wobbly. They say it takes up to 24 hours for this to stick together. So keep an eye out for that. What else do I want to show you guys? Let me have a quick look. So how's this gluing together? You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to get a clamp, I think. Ah, that could be a problem. I was going to use one of these clamps, and the clamp isn't long enough. Bugger, blast, and drat. Okay, better luck next time, David. Trying to be clever. Let's put this back on. Maybe I could clamp it this way. That might work quite well. Let's see. Probably stab myself in the chest with this now as well. That'd be clever, wouldn't it? There we go. Alright, so you guys can see what's going on here. Now, what's going to connect to the other side of this? So, let me just show you how the system currently works. So to control over 100 LEDs is not that easy. Let's just start with that sentence. Controlling, it's a lot of LEDs all at once. And so what we've got here are these new very much prototype Harlech XL boards, and these XL boards can essentially talk to 32 LEDs each. Pretty useful. And they also have an extra 4 outputs for high power LEDs, like these star ones, for instance. So if I wanted to add really high power ones, I've got a control switch for that here. That's controlled by a Wemos D1 Mini. You guys are probably quite familiar with me using these. And so, yeah, Wemos D1 Mini. And there's a special little connector here that allows me to daisy chain up to 4 of these boards. So 32 each, 32, 64, 128. I can get 128 LEDs by using these Harlech XL boards. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 times 32. And then there's an extra 4 high power outputs as well. So for instance, if I wanted sort of group static on and off Conway boards, that's a great place to switch them on and off from, and it distributes the 5 volts that it's getting up from USB over everything. So let's shift this over so you can see. So the 5 volts comes in by here from a power bank, or because it's such a big diorama piece, I think it's pretty reasonable to have a proper power cable or whatever, a power adapter. So power in here, and it goes out to all the LEDs from there. If I need to distribute any more of the power than that, then I also have a new toy. You guys may have seen this very recently on John at Tabletop Witchcraft's videos. These are the power strips. So these come as a set of, here we go. They come as a set of 3 in a row. And, these are essentially what, a friend of mine who does cars and stuff called it a a bus bar. So all of these pads on this side are connected, and there's a little solder blob you can add here to make the next lot all connect to the same thing. So if you want like ground, you've got 5 grounds, a blob, another 5 grounds, a blob, another 5 grounds, and then on the other side you could have your 5 volts from USB, blob, 5 volts from USB, 5 volts from USB. So it's a great way of connecting like the same signal to a lot of boards all at the same time. However, you know, there's sometimes you don't need sort of 15 connectors on each side. So these boards really easily just are designed to, come on you bugger, here we go, snap. Very, very easily in the middle. And now I've got a little 5 strip that, you know, on each side that I can connect around the board and so on. So pretty useful. Those are available on the Etsy store right now. Etsy's very fast to add things to. It's a little bit slower if I want to add things to the other store. So let's just put that to one side. So back to this setup. So I now have you know, a brain, the Wemos D1 Mini. We've got Harlech XL boards, and then for the inputs to handle my switches, let's just flip this over so you guys can see it again. So to handle my switches, I need something that can handle, you know, 6 to 8 inputs and so on. And this is where I take advantage of the Arduino community. The Arduino community are the guys who, you know, are making all these interesting drones and projects and things like that. So I am going to use, let's find that board, one of these boards. So this is a, let's open it. Where's my skizzers? Skizzers anywhere? Okay, fine. Do you like that? There we go. So this is a what's called an I2C expander. It talks on the same bus, you know, same connections as these, except they don't have the fancy little connector. I may actually make my own copies of these with the teeny tiny connector on it. But essentially it can it can sniff 8 different pins by here. So I can say, hey, is this one ground? Is that one ground? Is that one ground? Is that one ground? And then I'll have some code that takes care of that. Not terribly difficult to use. And when we talk about how it's going to be used in the, let me just move this back. By the way, once I'm done with this, all the code will be open for you guys. Even if you don't code, even if you don't know how, you can even ask sort of ChatGPT to take my example and modify it for your own needs. That's pretty cool. Let's have a look here. What's going on? No, okay. So let's see if you can see this. So we need to connect these 6 empty screw points back to these wires here, okay? And if I look at the pinout, maybe let's go to the other. On the underside of the board, there we go, look at that. We get P0, P1, P2, P3, P4, P5, P6, P7. Okay, so in electronics, we typically don't count from 1, we count from 0. Just why would you waste, you know, a number? So 1 through 7. Int is a special pin on this board. Int can be sent back to the main chip that says, hey, something happened. Come read what I've got really quickly. But we're not going to do that. We're just going to sort of, every couple of, you know, split seconds, we're going to be like, hey, did any of your pins change? Anyone change? And read it at our own pace. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my wire wrapping stuff, and we are going to do some wire wrapping between these empty lugs and this board, and then this is going to connect to ground. So let's pick a color, any color. I've got a, oh, let me change camera. Sorry about that, guys. I'm busy yapping on here and not really helping that much. This is a hookup wire kit, wire wrapping kit. And what's nice about this, I normally sell the reels because, you know, people aren't always as dedicated as I am, but you get separate colors here. That's really nice. So I'm going to use blue for this because blue doesn't say it's ground. It doesn't say it's, you know, power. It's blue. Like, it's not going to set expectations or anything like that. Okay. So, why is my phone dinging? Oh, okay, fine. Okay, so where's my schnips? I'm going to use some wire wrapping skills here. This is a really nice and fast way. So if I'm gonna on the out and in the real world, I'm gonna make. There we go. Let's get rid of that for now. We're gonna make pin number 1 go into P0. Okay. So let's strip this a little. By the way, if you are watching or if you are, yeah, for those of you that have added likes as well, don't forget to stop by. I've got about 5 or 6 minutes left before I call it quits for today, or go off stream anyway. So let's. Here we go. Loosen this up a little bit. Can you guys see what I'm doing? Yeah, I think so. Hello, hello. If you have just joined the stream, come on by and say hello in the chat. So I'm not just left talking to myself this entire time. All right. Screw that in. Oopsie daisy. Yeah, this will be interesting if these screws are tight enough for this wire wrap, because this wire wrap is very, very small and very thin. That's interesting. Okay, so what we're going to do then, I think, we switch to the microscope so you guys can see what I'm about to do here. There we go. Now you can see. I'm going to wrap this wire, this bare wire, around our main connector, and what this will do is it'll make it easier for it to grip from the screws perspective. Now I do potentially introduce some weakness at this point. You know, if I get a fracture at the tip here where the wire is bending the most, I could have problems there, but I think it'll help me in the long run. So let's get back to this. Alright, pop this where the screw hole goes. Come on, chop chop. There we go, and then screw down. Beautiful. A bit more. There we go. That's not moving now, which is exactly what I wanted. Okay, so at the other end, we're gonna strip the wire a little. Oh, I stripped too much there. The whole thing came off. There we go. Now then, let's get my wire wrapping tool. Bear with me. Switch that off just for a second. Where's my wire wrapping tool? There it is. Okay, we'll switch this back on. Hello all. Okay, that's great. And so the new camera I've got by here is actually one by a company called Obsbot. It actually tracks me. So if I move up, it should. Come on, come up with me. Come on, you. No? Okay, I guess it's decided it doesn't want to now, but normally it's supposed to track. I still need to learn how to use it. Alright, so wire wrapping. You guys have watched enough videos of me wire wrapping by now, but it never gets boring, does it? Okay, now which one was P0? P0 is at this end. So I'm going to go in by here, slide down the pin, a little bit of tension. I'm just pulling on it a little bit. And that makes sure then that when we're wrapping, that's really gripping really well. So now you can see, job done, happy bunny. Alright, so let's do the same thing, but again. So we'll get some more blue wire, or maybe we can use yellow wire this time, then use blue again after that, so that we can go yellow, blue, so we can spot them apart and so on. Let's go and grab some pliers by here. Now, one of the things that might be, well, that's of interest to me, is how much space in a product wiring can take. It looks thin, it looks small, but it's surprising how much overall space wiring can take in your project. So I do try and keep my wiring somewhat short, but not so short that it limits things. So what I've done here, look, I've bound it up around the wire so I get a better contact, and I'm going to unscrew with my little screwdriver. Anyone in chat? No. I know YouTube isn't really set up for good chat live stream. You know, you either got to be logged in or something similar. Okay, good. Okay, I'll strip some wire on the end here. Come on, you. There we go. I have to look down over my glasses because I'm that age, and then down onto pin 1 this time. Give it a little bit of tension and a twist. Beautiful. So now I have 2 pins wired in. We'll keep on going here. I wish I could fast forward through this for you, but this is a live stream. Maybe I can do the high-pitched talk, you know, as we go, but that's about it, really. That's all you're getting from me. There we go. We will. So I hope you all are having a pleasant Sunday as well. My son just went round to a friend of his house to stay the evening, so I am kicking back and using my time just to chill. I'm in my happy space and not having to yell at a 13-year-old. Look here. Once you get like a rhythm with doing wire wrapping and things, it really does become a lot easier. There we go. Add this in here. Goes onto the pin. A little bit of tension. Round and around and around and around. Beautiful. Okay, next one, let's get some more yellow. That is interesting. The chat has been very quiet today. Normally the chat is a lot more active. You guys are quiet today, sadly. I'm going to give it another 5 minutes just in case someone pops along. Got 2 likes for the video. Looking over my glasses again. Feel my age. All I'm doing is wrapping the wire wrap around the plastic here so that the wire becomes a little thicker and a little easier for the screw to grab down onto. And we'll test each one in just a minute now. Come on, you. There we go. Okay, yeah, it's not going anywhere. And hello to the latest person who's just joined, welcome. I'm just doing some wiring here. I think, there we go. Add that to number 4. Okay, so that's number 4 on this. So now we've got 4 of the switches of the 6 wired up. We are progressively getting there. And then this guy is going to be connected to ground so that when we push a button we can actually test if, you know, if our wiring is good, because there's no point just wiring something up and having a hope and a prayer that it's gonna work. That was yellow. I'll do a blue wire now. We've really got to get new glasses, or at least get my old ones fixed so that I can actually see, you know, the bifocals or whatever they are. Yeah, for those of you in your late 30s, that's what you got to look forward to in your 40s. Your eyesight deciding that, you know, now that you're finally competent enough to have hobbies and so on, and finally have the disposable income, your eyesight's going to let you down. And insist that you look like a goober looking over your glasses all the time. You wait till it's the mobile phone. That's the next one. You know, going like this with the mobile phone so I can see it. Ugh. Alright, let's have a look. So we unscrew this one. Come on then, work for me. I'm gonna have to get some tweezers for this, aren't I? Bear with me, switch off the cam for a second while I move. Back into position, and we'll switch the camera back on. Here we go. Hello everyone. Alright, let's have a quick look. Okay. There we go, look at that. Gorgeous. You'd think I had skills in these things. Okay, that's looking good. And we'll strip a little bit of this wire back. Wire wrap tool here. And I'm going to do this and make sure the switches work. That's why I'm staying streaming for just a little bit longer. If the job's worth doing, it's worth doing right. Okay. We've got one more then, last switch. Last switch to rule them all. Buggery. Let's try that again. There we go. We will fold it down, fold it back over itself a little bit. I'm just trying to wrap this wire ever so gently around the plastic here. I know there's old school Sparkies cursing at the screen right now. I know it's not proper, but we're not talking about big signals here. We're not transferring power, we're transferring voltage, okay? So, you know, transferring a voltage, you don't need that fantastic a connection for. Not like power. One day, when I find a way to explain it without math, I'll make a video about that. Okay. There we go, and this is the last one. Come on, you. Here we go. Where are you? There we go. And this is going to go on to the last pin by here. And my phone is dinging, and it's more spam. So glad I left my phone on to deal with spam. Okie dokie. So now I have my switch panel, fancy schmancy, and I have the board by here. So what I'm going to do now is, where is that? Now then, I'm going to show you guys a trick here if you've never seen one of these before. This is a multimeter. I'm going to have to stand up for this. Come on, you. Is this going to move up for me? Come on. No? Why isn't it doing that? Why isn't it doing anything? Preset 1. Boom. There we go. Ha! Okay. I'm looking down. I'll put this over here so you guys can see it. Okay. This is a multimeter. And what this can do is it can test. So you put it into this mode, and when there's an electrical contact between the two probes, it beeps in a really noisy and annoying way. Okay. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap one of the electrodes around this. Hopefully that's enough. And when I touch the other piece of wire, yeah, see, lovely. Okay, so let's move you over here, and let's if I put this on the, oh, you guys can't see, can you? So here's the screw, right? And if I push the button, it should beep. Okay, that switch is working. That switch is working. That switch is working. That switch is working. Let's try this one. Sorry guys. That switch is working. Let's test this last one. Beautiful. Okay, so we now know that the switches themselves are working. So now the question is, do we have a good connection between this circuit board and the switch? So I can put my probe on here. Let's see if we get a... Yep, that's good. Sorry, my big fat hand is in the way here, but that's working. Switch number 3. Switch number 4. Yeah, switch number 5. And this one. Excellent. Okay, so our wiring for the switches is working. And now what we've got to do is get this guy connected to the board. And I think what I'm going to do there is going to put some wire wrap around this connector up here. So let's put things away, tidy as we go. If you saw the state of my garage, which you probably did when it unfocused, you probably saw that. Quick drink. Okay, so let's go back to this. Let's get some black wire. So the downside of these kits is that the wire itself comes kind of loose, or it spools itself back inside, which is a real nuisance. Hold on. Yeah, hold on. Okay, hold on.
A little funky. She did like this thing in the corner of my eyes. It's a bit funky.
And I'm back. Sorry about that, folks. The wife has just had a makeup done for an event we're going to tonight. So I was like, I'm streaming. Feel like a right pillock now. I do, at least. Alright, so let's go back here. Now then. I'm going to see the concurrent viewer. Someone's got me on in the background, I'm sure. Not much in the chat again, but that's okay. You don't have to chat. It's real lonely, but you don't have to chat. Okay. So what I'm going to do, I know this is cheating, but I'm good at it, so let's have a look. Now I could add a blob of solder. I probably will in the final production, you know, the final one that gets shipped. But for now, for testing and all that fun stuff, I'm going to connect this to the ground of the board. For those of you that have never seen this wire wrapping tool before, it's an epic little tool for getting the job done. And here's ground. Remember, you give it a little bit of tension and then wrap. Okay, so now, in theory, if I got the wire tester out, I could test this, or I'm actually going to hook this up to an Arduino later this week, and we will take it from there. Alright, I think that is more or less what I'm going to get done for today. So, thank you for stopping by. Lovely to see you all as always. And I'll speak to you later this week when we'll take this and we'll actually start doing some coding with it. Take care. Bye-bye.